and shine. Yeah. 3, 2, 1. Well, hello there, and welcome to a brand new episode of the Confused Breakfast Podcast. Do you remember the pure joy of a trip to the video rental store as a kid?
I do.
It's hard to beat the ease of the modern era and streaming platforms where you don't even have to leave your couch, but there was something truly special about riding your trusty steed to Blockbuster to pick out a movie by hand to watch when you got home.
Yep.
On this podcast, we revisit and dissect some of our favorite childhood movies from that magical era, see if they still move us the way they did as kids. I'm your host, Mike Schulte. Joining me, as always, two dudes whose great-great-grandpas used to ride with the Dirty Underwear Gang out of Liberty, Missouri. Shaun Pryor and AJ Vince, how the heck are ya?
Like family, like other family.
Yep.
You know, we had the bird dogs thing, and I said I wouldn't trust it if I didn't wear underwear, and that's a reason for that.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You still wear underwear with bird dogs?
Yeah, I have
Dude,
to.
That's been the most freeing thing of my life.
I envy that.
Is leaving the Dirty Underwear Gang.
Right.
To go to the Dirty Shorts Gang.
to go to the Dirty Bird Dog Gang.
Yeah.
No, yeah, my grandfather, his nickname was the Belgian Buddy because he was just so nice to everybody, even the people he killed. So yeah, he was. But he turned out to be a pretty nice guy, and then he just joined a different mafia called Insurance.
Cool.
There you go.
Cool.
There you
Nice.
go.
Yeah.
Well, boys.
Dirty rat bastards.
On today's episode, we dive right back into the world of Westerns like we never left. This movie might not be in the top 10 Westerns of all time, but it sure is on everyone's list for pure motherfucking entertainment. This movie taught us what it's like to be a regulator, fighting for your friends. Certainly the best on-screen portrayal of Billy the Kid. We are, of course, talking about 1988's Young Guns.
Woo.
Well, dang it. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for another nostalgic journey to the past with the Confused Breakfast. Sit back, relax, and enjoy wherever you are in the world. Take it away, boys.
Living on a prayer.
If you are new to this podcast, we're going to be reviewing Young Guns scene by scene with a modern eye. But in order to do that properly, we got to talk about it with pure nostalgia. AJ, tell us the first time you saw this movie, what your rating was back in the day.
I will. Can I first say that you cut out the part that I get to respond to you in the introduction?
No, I combined it. I sort of like combined it with the big thing because I said it.
So
I said like the same thing twice, so I combined it.
Mike's
see.
trying to cut down on time, just second by
Oh,
second.
dude,
on
for
this
sure.
show.
Yeah, like
minimum.
if I could just not say that twice,
Yeah.
then like I feel like the show's gonna get shorter.
Yeah.
which makes more people listen.
Yeah. Which then I just helped make up for.
Yeah.
by asking this question. So
No,
knew
you
it was
should.
coming.
No, you should.
I've been waiting for you. It's been like 5 episodes. I've been waiting for you to bring it up.
that's why, like, the last couple times I've just been like, "Yep," just randomly in your introduction.
Got to keep you on your toes, man.
And so I'm like, we'll see if anyone else notices. Anyways, Young Guns. Oh, man, the Mighty Duck Man himself. And he decided to go back in time and not come back. And that is basically how I thought about this. And then I also realized he linked up with Topper Harley, who also went back in time from Hot Shots. And then you mean to tell me that they got the one, the only Lou Die Phil?
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Les Bombay.
Man, oh man. I loved this movie. When I was a kid, I would watch this movie and I wouldn't seek it out because I didn't really know even what the movie was. I just saw all these guys that I knew and loved in this movie. Kiefer Sutherland, I mean, and so I was enthralled by the cast as a young lad, and I was like, I want to be a rebel. Turns out you really don't, though.
No, you don't want to
They all
do
just
that.
end up dying. And but no, I was enthralled with the movie. Every time it was on like TBS or TNT or whatever, I would watch this movie, and it was like a cool Western movie to me as a kid. So I will tell you, this is probably like an 8.15.
8.15. Shaun, what about you, man?
You got to go back pretty early in this show's history to a little episode entitled well, the Price is Right episode.
Yeah.
There was a story in there of me visiting a elderly home.
It's a very unmemorable story.
Yeah.
Really, you don't really have to go back in time to listen to that.
A lot of people say old folks' home.
Yeah.
Oh.
A lot of people would call it that.
What would you call that?
Well, when my brain's not firing, a pre-funeral home.
Which is what it is.
If you really think about it and break it down.
Still funny. He didn't even go to hospice. He went to
No, you don't go. It's too expensive. So this guy that we hung out with would show us westerns like John Wayne and everything, like mostly John Wayne stuff, and that's kind of where I watched The Searchers and the Cowboys, and then he would just put on this movie, Young Guns. And so
this is for you young guns.
it was pretty perfect that I didn't want to talk to him, and we just watched a movie with him. And then he gave us some pocket knives and we got him taken away. But I liked it back then for that. I don't think I had ever seen it again until this moment.
Wow.
But back then I thought it was fine. I thought it was probably a 6.5.
6.5 for me. If you had asked me a week ago, this was going to be a 9.5. And I was strictly going to talk to you about how awesome the John Bon Jovi soundtrack was. And that was going to be the main basis for
a week ago?
Yeah, a week ago. I was like, oh, the John Bon Jovi soundtrack. I had it. I love this movie. And then I watched it. I'm like, where's the John Bon Jovi? And it's like, oh, that's Young Guns 2. And so I know I've seen this because it all feels the same. It's like one has not John Bon Jovi, one has John Bon Jovi, but otherwise the same movie.
Yeah.
So you got to subtract points for not having John Bon Jovi.
Sure.
So my nostalgic rating is going to be a 6.
Jeez, that's a lot of points to subtract.
Dude, Blaze of Glory? Have you heard that song?
Did number 2 have On a Steel
It had everything.
It had it all.
It had it all? Well, then yeah, I guess that's about 3.5 points worth.
Wait till you understand what characters they added to the movie to be the rest of the Young Guns. We'll talk about that. We're doing it next week.
Reviewing Young Guns 2?
We're doing it next week.
We're just going to do that immediately.
We got to go to executive producer Bud Larsen. Here's what he had to say. This was his movie of choice, and we're glad to have you, Bud. This is what he said nostalgically. He said, I remember watching this on HBO when I was a kid. I like outlaw westerns. My friends and I watched this a bunch. I had the VHS and DVD. Ooh. I also did a book report on Billy the Kid when I was in elementary school. I did too.
Nice.
I definitely did. I am also a movie quote guy, from Buckshot Roberts saying "Let's dance" to Billy saying "I like these odds" during the shootout at the end of the movie. Who doesn't remember saying "Regulators, mount up"? It probably had more to do with the Nate Dogg and Warren G song "Regulators" than the movie Young Guns, but I remember it from the movie first. Nostalgic rating would have to be a straight up 8. Guys, that's going to take us to a 7.16 nostalgically. It's very decent, right? That's actually tied in the 60th spot with Fast and the Furious.
Okay.
Is how we feel nostalgically about that movie.
I like it.
So we're going to strip it all away now. We're going to talk about it modern day. That's how we're going to rate it from here on out. And we got to learn about the pertinent, important details of the movie. Shaun, what do you got?
Young Guns was produced by Joe Roth, Chris Kane, and James Robinson. Written by John Fusco? You tell me. Cinematography by Dean Semler. He also did cinematography for The Road Warrior, Young Guns 2, City Slickers, Last Action Hero, Triple X, The Longest Yard, Cocktail, Super Mario Brothers, and Waterworld. Let's go, baby.
Yo.
Music by Brian Banks and Anthony Martinelli. Directed by Christopher Kane. He also did The Next Karate Kid. Cast: Emilio Estevez, Kiefer Sutherland, Lou Diamond Phillips, Charlie Sheen, Dermot Mulroney, Casey Simasco, Terrence Stamp, Jack Palance, Terry O'Quinn, and Yen Sun. And also Tom Cruise. After coming off the success of his screenplay for Crossroads, writer John Fusco set out to complete his script about Billy the Kid and the Lincoln County War. Having worked together before, director Christopher Kane read the script, and after just 16 pages, the director agreed to do the project. After looking for a production company and getting turned down by TriStar, who hated the script, the independent film financiers Morgan Creek agreed to fund the movie and oversee production. Principal photography began on February 8th, 1988. Morgan Creek wanted a fast turnaround for the release of the film, hoping for a summer blockbuster. They wanted the film to release in August of that same year. This made the production film a lot at lightning quick speed, which made for some ingenuity where a lot of the shootout scenes and fight scenes in general were all improvised right on set. The set was also very cordial and a great time, apparently. The primary cast would pull pranks on each other and try and lift one another up, like when Emilio Estevez was just coming off a breakup, and Lou Diamond Phillips would send him funny things like a sheep with makeup dressed up to his dressing room.
Dude, hot young men just having the time of their lives.
Whatever, man. Just drinking. Dude, I'm sure, like, we got Charlie Sheen, we got his brother, Emilio Estevez. It is his brother.
Twins, Basil.
Twins. Cocaine. Just all the cocaine. Young Guns was released on August 12th, 1988, and on a budget of $11 million, the movie was indeed a modest blockbuster, taking in $56 million at the box office, garnering a sequel and a rumored third movie yet to be filmed.
Boring. Up next, we have AJ. You did some research for us. AJ talks about ratings from critics and fans alike. What do you got, bro?
Guys, they literally thought that this movie was getting too bloody, so they just started to cut out the blood, but we ain't going to cut out the tomato meter. Gross. Yeah, you know, kind of a splat here. There's a bit of a 42. Sorry.
No, 42%.
42%.
But I do want to throw it out there that every once in a while you find a little 42 is not great.
It's not great.
But you find out the company of movies we've done that are also 42s.
I assume Fast and the Furious is in there.
No.
Okay.
Just Friends, Teen Wolf, Rad. Is 42 just
Say
some
no
weird
more.
magical spot where it's like, no, it's actually really good.
Say no more.
You guys are
because
idiots.
You watch those movies all over and over again.
It's most
Just a Friends
certainly-
is a 10 for AJ, so
Yeah, I mean, well, not anymore. Sorry, guys. Sorry, Ryan. We're on a first name basis. This is obviously audiences disagree then with all of those movies. In this particular case, it's 76% that they gave this. And if you are talking about IMDb, you're going to be talking about how I missed my cut on my photo. 6.8. A 6.8 at IMDb.
6.8, all the movies we've done, tied with Wedding Singer, Bloodsport, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Fast and the Furious.
Nice.
Bloodspurt, baby.
Bloodspurt.
Let's go. So, yeah, 6.8 from the IMDb land. Guys, the critics had some things to say about this movie, and I'm surprised I didn't have more negative reviews if all these guys are, if this is ending up at 42%. And the New York Times gave this an 80 out of 100. Young Guns is best watched in the playful, non-too-serious spirit in which it was made. Though the film concentrates reverently, I'm going to leave it at that, on its young stars, it also includes good performances from a few grown-ups, notably Terry O'Quinn as a lawyer and Jack Palance as the story's wild-eyed villain. Big Jack Palance fan.
Yeah, man. It's fun. I wonder if a lot of people will talk about the historical accuracy in this because, man, we'll get to it, but it is fairly accurate. It's kind of fun.
I agree. Chicago Reader, Jonathan Rosenbaum, we've had him here talking with us before. He disagreed. He's like, I'm giving this 20 out of 100. See, Chicago
2 out of 10, huh?
A 2 out of 10. I know. 0.2 out of 1.
Wow.
It just gets worse from there.
It does.
Full of odd notions and interludes, the movie never really comes together, but fitfully suggests a cross between Boys Town and Greaser's Palace.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of we'll get to it. I understand where he's coming from. It's like it never comes together. There's sometimes it's disjunct, and that's what Hal Henson also had to say. That it really just never came together as well. He was right there with Jonathan Rosenbaum. So,
yeah.
Some viewer ratings, guys. Let's start in 1998 from Karma 9. Karma-9. Not bad. Not bad at all. But I didn't want to give it a star rating. Maybe they didn't back then. I usually steer clear of Westerns having made the experience that so many are cliche to an unhealthy extent. Young Guns takes from the cliche and adds to the sympathy for the characters. Historical accuracy isn't given everywhere in the film, but the actor's great job makes up for that. And I really liked that little review.
Rad.
I wanted to, you know what? I feel like somebody's toying with me, but they are writing good reviews. And I believe B-Hole Shebang was the one who helped us out on Rocky.
Okay.
I want to say.
The one that we made the TikTok video.
That we made
yes.
a TikTok video.
I can think of nobody else who would help us out with Rocky
other
than B-Hole Shebang.
See? Adrian.
B-Hole.
Let's do it. Let's just, you know what? Yeah, let's do it.
Jump in, man.
I'm going to jump on in. I'm going to not save you for last. No, I am going to save you for last.
Fuck.
Johnny Vino, sorry, is going to be doing this first. Let's be real, fools. 10 out of 10.
Shit.
The series became 2 of the most impactful movies of my teenage years. Sure, things aren't 100% historically accurate, but most movies are made for Hollywood. What the hell? The low ratings, in my opinion, reflect people that have no spirit for adventure and curiosity of life. If you were enthralled with a movie after watching it for years, like I was from my teenage years into my late 40s, you would feel a sense of adventure that doesn't exist in today's day and age. I love the series for what it is, and it had the best actors. F the historic accuracy, and enjoy the story as if it was just a new adventure show to watch.
Okay.
I love that. That's
love
exactly what I say about James Bond.
Yes.
Stop trying to make points out of it. Read it watch it like a comic book.
Except Goldeneye.
Except Goldeneye. No.
No. This is my
No,
thought.
AJ loves Goldeneye. We know this.
I love it.
Well,
And you know what else I love?
Pierce Brosnan. That's my James Bond.
What else I love about James Bond is the historical accuracy as well.
I know. Me too.
Yeah.
He's so good. So on point. All right, guys. 7 out of 10. Hyena.
5.3 from AJ is not loving Goldeneye.
All right,
By the way.
fine.
Go
Golden
ahead.
guys.
It probably should have been one I revisited because I felt bad about giving it that because
Don't.
well, I do.
Go.
So.
You're thinking about the game. It's fine.
Mike's like, you're right. Mike's sitting over here. He's like, AJ, you're taking away all the time that I saved from cutting that one line in my intro.
Fuck you.
Before you know it,
Everyone stop. Keep going. with
before you know it, this whole segment's gonna be gone.
it. All of a sudden it's like, well, thanks, Shaun. Now it's time to review the movie. I am the holder of the notes, so I mean, what are you gonna do?
Okay, 7 out of 10, guys. Hyena the Kid from B-Hole Shebang. Welcome back to the show. Warning, spoilers. Emilio Estevez as Billy the Kid is part psychopath and part hyena, laughing hysterically as he guns people down. He seeks vengeance for the murder of a man he barely knows. Not that he needs an excuse to kill people, but he continuously puts his own life in danger because he's adventurous, I guess. Following him is a great cast of young actors, but it's not really clear why they follow him, as they would be much better off seeking their vengeance without Billy. Charlie Sheen plays the ultimate voice of reason for the group. Who saw that coming?
That is really true.
Jack Palance plays our ultimate bad guy, an Irish gangster cow baron without the slightest attempt at an Irish accent.
Quit stealing my bits.
I know. It's basically the same character he played the following year in Batman.
It is. Totally is.
He was using this as prep for that. When he calls out for his sex slave, China, I half expect him to accidentally call out sugar bumps. The best part of the film is the score. It's so fantastically cheesy 80s and set against the Old West. It is weird and wonderful. Not the best overall film, but a great cast and really fun to watch. Well said.
Good job, B-Hole.
Thanks, B-Hole.
Well, today's sponsor is here to help us out all this fall. It's a busy time of year. You got to get the kids from school to all their practices and extracurricular activities. The daylight's getting shorter and shorter, and you got to find time to get to the pumpkin patch. Start up your scary movie watching schedule. There's so much to do. Dinner gets lost in the shuffle here, and HelloFresh is here to save the day by handling all the meal planning and shopping to deliver everything you need to cook up a tasty meal right at home. Not only are you saving money because of how affordable HelloFresh is compared to eating out and ordering delivery, but they are also saving you time by not having to go to the grocery store and most certainly buying stuff you aren't even going to use. Take your pick from 40 weekly recipes that suit your lifestyle, from veggie to family friendly to fit and wholesome. You can even choose the quick and easy recipes and 15-minute meals if you want to save even more time. I don't even have to tell you how much I love cooking at home. Like, this has been a huge, crazy, like, revitalization in my life. I never knew I liked it. I don't know anything about cooking, but these recipes are so easy to follow. It's impossible not to be considered a master chef once you feed your family. I blow myself away every single time with how it tastes. My wife is responsible for getting the baby bathed, and getting her to sleep. So I just step into the role of cook in the house, and I couldn't do it without America's #1 meal kit, HelloFresh. I promise you're going to love it as much as we do. Go to HelloFresh.com/50ConfusedBreakfast and use code 50ConfusedBreakfast for 50% off, plus 15% off the next 2 months. That is pure insanity. Click the link in our bio. Go to HelloFresh.com/50ConfusedBreakfast. Use code 50ConfusedBreakfast. If you're thinking about pinching pennies for the end of 2023 and you want to add a super fun thing to your nightly routine, this is what you do. HelloFresh, thank you so much.
How often do you blow yourself away, Mike?
A lot.
Okay.
I have to add this in because I think it's super important when you're talking about like recipes that you get. The chicken sausage with pasta, like you've got like burger options with wedges that you're cutting yourself. I'm telling you, man, these meals are bomb.
Well, boys, in case our audience didn't know, we're regulators. We regulate any stealing of this property. We're damn good, too. But you can't be any geek off the street. You got to be handy with the steel, if you know what I mean.
Darn tootin'.
Earn your keep. Confused breakfast! Mount up! Woo! Here we go. So scene 1, in Lincoln County, New Mexico, cattleman John Tunstall hires a wayward young gunman named Billy to join the regulators who live and work on his ranch. Tunstall tries to educate and civilize the young men in his employ and clashes with rival rancher Lawrence Murphy, a well-connected Irishman in league with the corrupt Santa Fe ring. Can I bring up one thing?
Yeah.
This is the problem that I'm hoping our wide audience can fix, right? When I go to any app and I'm like, I got to search to see if Young Guns is on there. The minute you finish typing Young, what do you think pops up?
Young and the Restless?
Nope.
Young Frankenstein?
Young Sheldon. Young Sheldon. There are more people out there trying to find Young Sheldon than there are
Clamoring just to
any
find
other
that.
movie that has the word young in it.
I quit.
Who watches that show?
I quit.
So all I'm saying is, can we all just agree to like search for Young Guns?
Can we?
all
Yeah,
at once?
let's just do it right now. Everyone, get on their
Everybody.
apps and search for Young Guns and click on it, because that's how it's going to be cemented in there. And whoever is making, and like we're on a strike right now.
Yeah.
I'm certain they're still making Young Sheldon.
Well, it's because there's no writing involved. They're just like, here's a kid.
It's a great fucking
Hey,
point, Mike.
Here's
He's a nerd.
a kid, and he's like a nerd, but
it's funny.
But it's different because it's juxtaposed against this family who's kind of not.
Yeah,
they're dumb compared to
And
him.
you like it because it's the guy from that one show, but it's the young
Yeah.
version of him.
Which, by the way, I love. What is his name? John something. John.
He's great.
Tunstall.
There we go. Thank you.
Yep.
I love John Tunstall in. But I don't watch that show. Anyways,
No.
John Tunstall. John Tunstall is the man that everyone needs in their life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're like, he is the Western's dad.
Yeah.
We talk about Tom Hanks being America's dad. This is the Old West's
Old West
dad.
Yeah.
Now, in reality, he was like 24 years old.
Yeah.
They said
But
he was
that's-
younger.
That's besides the point, guys.
They said he was younger than pretty much all the dudes.
A lot of
Except
them.
for Billy.
Do you know? Yeah.
That's
Yes.
the only one.
Do you know how hard it is to like get older people to follow you if you're younger than them? This guy had to be, because this is a true historical person. This guy had to be a master.
He's a well-to-do kind of businessman.
Yeah.
I mean, he was actually English, and I mean, he just had this way about him. Apparently, he just had this way with words, and like if you have the gift of gab and are charming
And dress well.
of any percentage of your personality, you can influence some people.
He nails it in this movie. I would follow this man.
He's
this
great.
Movie.
I love his role. What is his name? I'm so sorry, I can't. Because I love him in every. He's one of these guys I want to watch in every.
Terrence Stamp.
Terrence Stamp. Love him in everything I see him in, and I just love the idea that it is. Again, it's Hollywood. I read a lot of reviews. It's the same way. It's like you got to give the Hollywood idea.
You have to.
It's very tough to make it seem. I would love to see like a very historical version of this story. But at the same time, I would, because I would love to see how young John Tunstall, 24-year-old John Tunstall, really got these guys to do this, where he came from and what he did. But we don't have time in this movie.
You're exactly right.
He's a handsome man, too, in
Exactly.
real life. Extremely handsome.
Like the real guy was?
Yeah, they're like all these Old West photos, especially Billy the Kid, they just look like they...
He looks so bad.
Everyone looks like they got the shit kicked out of them just before they took a picture. But
hey, we need makeup done? All right, let's all kick the shit out of him. Let's initiate him into the regulators before his photo.
Everyone take a shit in your hand and rub it on his face, because that's what he's going to look like. Good God.
God.
There's going to be a podcast in the future talking about him. We got to make this photo look terrible.
I do like the 80s attitude version of sepia tone.
Shut up, Shaun. No, you don't. No, you don't. Shaun, you do not say that with a straight face that you love the way this intro looks.
I love the way... No, I don't.
It's so bad.
You might as well have Don Henley on a guitar, like, while this is going on. You know
it basically does.
I like how cheesy it is, but I don't really take this movie that seriously, and I don't think you're really supposed to. I think they're kind of in on the joke a little bit. Maybe you guys think differently, but yeah,
I think you're right.
Okay, yeah, it's just like it's pure like capital A 80s, as we say.
Yeah.
Another short idea.
Love that.
But yeah, I like how they're just going for it. Like we have all these like 80s teen heartthrobs.
Yeah.
As these characters, we're gonna play on that, you know.
But yes, yeah, 100%. Like I love it. I didn't know that I needed an 80s music Old West movie.
I didn't know if it was going to work for me.
I didn't know if I needed it, but I did, because it's fantastic. And them winking at the camera,
I know.
A music video. But why the sepia tone or whatever? Like that. Like if they had just made it look normal, I would have been like, greatest intro we've done yet.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. I was so in until the fucking shitty filter.
Yeah.
It looked like a terrible like Snapchat filter that someone put together.
They grained it up real hard.
Yes.
And you're just like you are like the moment. And by the way, you're so caught off guard by it now. I'm sure when I was a kid, I was like, fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man, I've never seen that effect in a Paula Abdul music video.
It's like I want to be like that too.
Wink. Standing in the bathroom
Standing
trying
in
to
the
learn how
bathroom.
to wink.
Yeah. Oh, like in the mirror, you're just like, I got it.
It's not like the rad intros of the bikers, like
No.
and Tony Rods,
Hollywood Mike Miranda.
Tommy Morrison. But anyways, no, like it is a point of like, man, I thought this was really cool, and now I'm at the point watching it where I'm like, oh man, I feel like awkward.
Yeah,
I feel awkward kind of watching this. Like they somebody directed them on how to do this, and I feel like, wow, they took time out of a budget to do this.
Yeah.
So it felt a little weird during this.
One thing on the cast as well, like, you know what makes me feel awkward is I cannot take Charlie Sheen as like a second in command seriously whatsoever.
Mm.
He's like get on up. I'm like, dude, no. Like
when he tries to toughen up his voice,
yes,
it's like what I have to do when I was trying to train my dog Scout. You know, like it's like you can't have a dog like that and not like be stern with him.
Hey,
but I gotta
man.
act tough, right? But you got Charlie Sheen saying regulators. Like, no,
it's sort of like it feels like
I even just did that better than he did.
Yes.
like he put some like pumpkin seeds in his lip to like make it look like he was showing like regulators.
Yeah.
I want you to get up on that horse now.
Settle up.
Shut up, dude.
It does. It feels like an alternate universe that we live in this movie, where like Emilio Estevez is the one drinking tiger blood, and
Yeah.
Charlie Sheen's just like, yeah, whatever. you
Yeah.
know? But for at one moment in time, they sort of crossed roles in this movie and then went on. But like Emilio, dude, I'm all in on Emilio.
I think
in this
he's
movie,
great.
though. Don't you think?
I honestly think that his role in this would have been so much better complemented had you switched around Kiefer Sutherland and Charlie Sheen's characters.
Ooh, okay.
If you would have made Charlie Sheen Doc, and he could have been an actual supporting member kind of to his brother, like,
Okay.
in this thing, in this movie, and you had Kiefer Sutherland as the guy who was trying to take the tougher role.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
'cause
really do
Dick
think,
Brewer.
he would have been a better Dick Brewer.
I think
love
you're
him
right.
as Doc. He did a great job playing that character, but I think switching them up would have elevated the
I
entire
like him
cast.
better when he's more of a badass.
When he's
Do
more
you,
tough.
than the
do you
softy.
think that because he's Kiefer Sutherland though? Because
Yes.
he wasn't at this point. I
That's
don't
a good
think.
point. He plays this role. I'm saying
Well,
that
neither was Charlie Sheen. Like Charlie
Right.
Sheen wasn't who we think he is
Sure.
yet.
Kiefer Sutherland played. I think he does play a wonderful, like, soft-hearted, like poet,
Yeah.
Doc wanting to help, shocked by the blood sort of situation. But I think that it would have been just better served.
I'm interested in that for
Yeah.
sure. I like
Yeah.
that.
Sean Penn was supposed to be Billy.
Mm-hmm.
I love Emilio better than that. I think.
think
And
so, too.
Patrick Swayze was supposed to be Dick Brewer.
Yeah,
I would have loved that.
I would-
That
seen
could have
that.
worked.
It would have been really tough, though, to watch Patrick Swayze go down.
exit. Well, that's the thing. I think about it. If Kiefer Sutherland was in the role, he's exits this movie halfway through.
You're
you know?
right. Shit, you're right.
I understand,
Yeah.
but I still think it
I
would
mean,
have been
like
more impactful.
Exactly. That's what I asked myself. Like, would it be more impactful?
Yeah.
This whole group is fucking
phenomenal.
fantastic. I you know what? An underrated performance in this, Casey Siemaszko as
Casey Siemaszko.
Charlie Beaudry. I think it's my favorite performance in this whole movie, and he didn't really go on to do much after. He's in one of my favorite high school movies, which I want you to see, Mike, because I know they're in your veins.
Yeah,
And I
it's
want to
already in
cover.
there.
I want to cover on the show sometime. Is 3 O'clock High. He's fantastic in that, and I think he's extremely underrated in this movie.
Well, then we got to talk about the Jarrett Layoff actor database. Like you just got done saying he's not in much, but believe it or not, of all the actors that we have done in every movie we've done and the ones in this movie, he is in the most. He's been in 4 movies.
Wow.
Back to the Future 1 and Back to the Future 2.
Yeah.
Mr. Punchable Face himself, 3D glasses.
That's right.
3D glasses. And he was also in Stand By Me.
In Stand By Me.
That's
as
correct.
Billy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
right?
Billy in Stand
He's
By
like
Me.
he's one of Kiefer Sutherland's
Yep.
cronies.
Yep.
And again, it's kind of fun.
And here we are
Oh,
again,
wow.
working together again.
Wow.
Look at that.
I agree with you 100%. I think he is underrated. Same with Dermot Mulroney.
Yeah.
Yep.
He's a great actor.
He
I
kind of
love it.
disappears in this.
He does.
Is he Dirtface?
He is Dirty Steve.
He's a mud kid.
Dude, that guy's a mud kid for sure. I think
Fucking
most
gross.
of these guys are mud kids.
Oh
you
yeah,
know?
I think you could not be a mud kid.
in the Old West.
These Hollywood heartthrobs, yeah, they're gonna go do a movie and they're gonna get actually dirty for
Yes.
sure. Yeah,
100%. I like, but he's got Dermot. He's got such a distinctive face.
Yeah.
and honestly, they kind of take it away from him in
Yeah.
this, and he definitely becomes a background character. But I do really like him in this. Is he the pugilist?
No,
No,
Or is that
that's Charlie
That's
Beaudry.
Charlie.
I
that's
think.
Siemaszko?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. He is probably my favorite.
Yeah, he looks like Tyler Childers in
Yeah.
this movie, like
Ooh,
today.
kinda.
But one more thing on Dermot Mulroney is that they were all pretty committed to these roles. They were like, hey, you can do Tootsie Rolls for the giant wad of chew that you're gonna have in your mouth the entire movie. He's like, no, I'm gonna do chew.
So when he was actually doing that,
When he was actually like throwing tobacco in his fucking lip, he was actually doing it.
That's so
That's
much.
gross.
That's so much.
If we were on a train to go punch a face, I'm on board.
That's what I'm talking about.
I mean, it has to be Jack Palance, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Jack Pants.
I mean, like he again, our reviewer Boner 69 or what was it?
She bang.
Yeah, she bangs.
Beehole.
He literally nailed all the notes I had on Lawrence Murphy. Jack Palance is like, I didn't even know he was supposed to be an Irishman until I researched this movie. And it's like, well-connected Irishman. I'm like, who's the well-connected Irishman?
Yeah.
It was the bad guy. Okay, like he makes 0 attempts, and again, I think he was my second in line punchable face in Batman. And I didn't give it to him because we had to go the cop.
Yeah.
So I think it's time for him to get his because he just maybe you can help me here. I just don't feel like he's a very good actor.
Really?
He just seems like the guy that's just like I just say my lines
I
like
think
this.
a lot of these later roles,
Yeah.
he does get reduced to that, and he gets reduced to kind of his name.
Yeah.
To be completely honest,
Very true.
when you see like I think earlier performances of Jack Palance, like it's like it is a much stronger thing. But at this point, he's just reduced to this.
I think he's getting older, especially in like this time period, and he's just like, I want to come and I just want to chew the scenery. Which I hope he does.
I was ignoring it, and then I was like, shit.
never, baby.
But I feel like he's just coming to chew the scenery in this, and I think he does that really well.
What does chew the scenery mean?
It's like literally just like when you see a bad guy, he's just like he loves being a bad guy, you know.
Yeah.
He's just like he's got that. And like in this, I think he literally looks like he's chewing the scenery. Like every time he comes like a close, but he's like.
It's the equivalent of a cow chewing its cud.
Yes.
You know what I mean? That kind of a thing, but in a like not so literal term. But he's just like,
you're my number one guy.
And I love. By the way, I love that Jack Nicholson makes fun of him basically in character on the movie. But that being said, in Batman, but I do agree with you. I think. The exception to this in his later roles is when, and hopefully we'll get to it, is like City Slickers. Did you ever watch City Slickers?
Okay.
Wonderful role in that. I don't think he's such a dedicated cartoon bad guy like he is in Batman in this.
But they just kind of said, "This is what you're gonna do.
This is what you're gonna do," and they probably kind of let him roll with it. And
I think so.
I agree with you. It's like I don't buy you as a bad guy. I buy you as a gritty anti-hero. Kind of a vibe. And when he goes so far this way, it is really tough. And I am gonna disagree with you on this, Mike, because I don't think the problem is that I don't think that he never makes an effort. It's the fact that he probably is making a really hard effort and it's still not working.
Okay. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I'm saying, he's phoning it in. You're saying, no, he's trying really hard.
He's trying. And like there are points where I catch it every now and again. And I'm just like, yeah, but why don't you keep going? Like you lose it halfway through a sentence, Jack.
Actually, you can. He sort of has an Irish accent at one point, and then it's like, nah,
he Kevin Costner's it and Rob, you know.
It's like they, in certain like scenes in a movie, like you have to carry over continuity. So like have the same face you were making when we said cut the last time, and he's like, no, I'm not gonna do that.
Tell your editor.
He's
to
like,
figure it out.
once you say action, I will get in it. So he's like he's there in between takes. He's just like, okay.
Can I?
In like 5 seconds, we're gonna get rolling here, Jack. Yeah.
Yeah. Are you ready, or
Yeah,
are you good, or?
And 5, 4.
Well,
3.
hang on.
Cut.
Nah, you boys are fuckers.
Cut.
Yeah.
More Irish accent.
I don't know how to do that.
Okay, whatever.
What? This is Irish?
I thought this was the Wild West in America.
I am doing an Irish accent.
Yeah, it was a melting pot of literally.
Yeah, but this is America.
Jack, I need you to play ball on this one, man.
This is the 1880s. You can't be more racist today than you are.
I have to say, I think we need now with all the discussion we've had about this, I think we need a good brunch episode.
Okay.
For some recast on Young Guns.
Ooh, that'd be fun.
You want to recast Young Guns?
I think I want to recast Young Guns.
So Young Guns 3.
Yes.
We want to cast it.
Right.
Okay.
Yep.
Be fun.
Well, before you move on, though, we got to talk about Lawrence Murphy historically. I don't know if you read much on that. Apparently, he was pretty much terminally ill at this point, and was not even involved in this story whatsoever. By the time the Lincoln County War came around, he was out of the picture. But I guess before he retired to a hospital, he sold everything to an aggressive young partner named Jimmy Dolan, who then Dolan was basically the guy that was killing him and doing everything. So
yeah. Yo, guys. So last time I told you about my clothing brand that I wanted to start, Wolf Den Wears. It was a couple of years ago that I really wanted to get going on this. I had no idea where to start. I tried a bunch of different websites, a bunch of different website creation websites, a lot of different e-commerce websites and brands, and I am really still, again, we use Shopify for Wolf Den Wears, okay? I'm so glad I found it. I went through like 3 or 4 different ones, but the reason I went with Shopify is because it puts you right in control of every single sales channel that is out there that you're probably trying to utilize. So whether you're selling satin sheets on Shopify's in-person POS system, or you're offering organic olive oil on Shopify's all-in-one e-commerce platform, you are literally covered, okay? If you have any sort of foot in retail at this point, whether you're a band selling merch or a full-fledged brick and mortar, you know that it is, if you're not already thinking about the holiday season and the cold weather that's coming up, you're probably behind at this point. Okay, you've got so much to do already. You've got inventory to manage. You've got shipping deadlines that are going to be coming up that you have to meet. You've got to update some seasonal photos. Maybe you got to get a new layout on your website. Shopify will literally help you take care of all this stuff. It's so easy to upload. It's so easy to update your pricing, update your inventory, and keep track of it so that way you're not missing out on a customer who's ordering something that you don't even have. Okay, Shopify powers 10% of all e-commerce in the U.S. at this point, guys. Shopify is truly a global force powering Allbirds, Rothy's, Brooklyn, and millions of other entrepreneurs of every size, including me, across 170 countries. Shopify grows with your business no matter how far or how big you need to grow. Thanks to an endless list of integrations and third-party apps, I use shipping integration, I use customer support integration, everything. You can do on-demand printing, accounting, chatbots, anything that's going to help you save some time and revolutionize your business. Once you start selling, Shopify will make getting paid super simple by instantly accepting every single type of payment. So, sign up for a $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/confused, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/confused to take your business to the next level today. Shopify.com/confused.
So scene 2, one of Murphy's hired hands, McCloskey, joins up with Tunstall while Doc attempts to court Yen's son, who is bound to Murphy. Murphy's men kill Tunstall, leading his lawyer friend Alexander McSween to arrange for the regulators to be deputized and given warrants for the killer's arrest.
So we get to this dance scene or this like Happy New Year scene, I guess. First of all, when they celebrate and shoot guns up in the air, and like I can only imagine if like someone's not used to that, it's like fuck, god damn it, you like just
they just came from New York or something like that.
Yeah, it's just like, well, like AJ said, a melting pot of cultures, you know.
Yeah,
like I'm not used to people just shooting guns when, you know, I guess bullets were easier to come by than fireworks.
Nah,
apparently they were out there. Well, you didn't have all the overseas manufacturers. Black Cat, you know, wasn't really a company at this point for firecrackers.
Lockheed and Morgan.
Yeah, you know. They weren't setting up fireworks stands on the corner of.
It was illegal in New Mexico at that point, but so they had to cross the border in Arizona. Right when they crossed the border,
fireworks were illegal in New Mexico.
All the fireworks.
They had to go down there, and that was a hell of a trek down Death March Road. At the what was it, Mike? It was the cross of Death March Road and not so fun like Marquee. I don't know.
Native Americans, you know, it's not looking kindly on us.
Well,
and in there
fireworks.
I think it's the best New Year's Eve party I've ever seen. New Year's Eve is always that holiday where you're like, I'm so excited for this New Year's Eve. We're gonna go to this thing.
Hey,
there's gonna be a balloon drop, and there's gonna be champagne toast at midnight. It's gonna be. It's just always a boring. I'd go to this New Year's Eve party.
Hell yeah.
Camping, gambling,
this
dancing.
has got everything. Dancing.
You're meeting up with your buddies. Be like, hey, did you get your open carry for this one?
Yeah.
You bet I did.
Like,
everyone gets 6 pops. All right, that's about it.
How do they keep track?
I kind of wanted the music from Back to the Future 3.
Where's the easy top when you need
That's
them?
what I'm saying.
Spinning their like the drums and guitar.
Yep, that wasn't happening.
I gotta say, as much as we love Kiefer Sutherland, he is a bit of a fucking creep in this movie, especially with Yen's son. When he's just basically takes her and starts dancing with her, she didn't say yes or no. She just had to go.
He's asking for permission from the man of the house. Essentially,
ask the man who owns her and not the woman who owns herself.
Yes.
Well, that is again we kind of find out. It's like, maybe he recognizes she's employed, or like he says her caretaker. Right, so it's not that he realized, because he asked later on. It's like, oh yeah, the nice like young lady that he's enthralled with at this point. And it's like, yeah, if you want to call her that. I mean, it sounds like she's house entertainment over there at the Murphy
for him or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. And so, and you know, obviously different time back then. There was not a lot of that. If like say it was like a daughter, you'd go to the man of the house and say, I'd like to court your daughter or
Yes.
something, right? And that's kind of what he's trying to do, do the respectful thing at this point in time. And then you find out it's like, yeah, that's not what's going on here.
Yeah.
This
Well,
is,
even then,
he's
he's
like, yeah, you can fucking dance with her. What do I care? I'm trying to do an Irish accent. I don't have time to care about this.
9 more people have danced with her throughout the night.
Yeah.
You're going to be fine.
If you know what I mean. It's like, this just turned weird.
Well, he's like,
But he is very, very aggressive
and
at
the
points.
butterflies and the mountains and
It's
he's like, it's a poem. She's like, what the fuck did you just say to me?
What's a poem?
It's a poem. He's like, I wrote it. He gets very, very serious.
I'm a
with
poet.
It. I'm a poet. I wrote it.
I always regress. Like, I always go back to the point of, like, it's the most basic version of not a phone in sight.
Yeah.
And you have to think about how people entertain themselves and how they entertained each other and how maybe even rare it was to own a guitar or a mandolin or have a harmonica, to be like that's why these people in these bars and saloons, the people who are playing pianos are like, man, they're an artist. You know, it's not like today that you can go grab a first act guitar for like $60.
We can grab a guitar right now.
We
and start
can literally
playing Dave
grab one
Matthews
right
songs.
now. But you think about that, and it's like the entertainment. It's like he just starts doing poetry. It's like, is that how it's done?
I think that's got to probably be the equivalent of someone being like picking up a guitar and being like, here, I wrote this song.
I wrote this.
It's probably the same equivalent, right?
Yeah.
Annoying to most, but some people might really find it enthralling.
I mean, like AJ's saying, back then, that's probably just the way.
To be able to go to a dance, like an event, a party, and be able to dance with a lady, to be able to listen to music. How often do you actually ever get to listen to music in this world?
And we talk about this a lot. Like my band, the Pork Tornadoes, plays a lot of like county fairs. And it's lost in modern day. In modern day, like, what's the reason for this county fair? Oh, like, there better be rides and cotton candy so my kid has something to do.
Yeah.
But back then, the reason they are there is for everyone to come together and be like, hey, haven't talked to you in 6 months. Like, how's everything going?
Right.
Wow. Maybe our kids could get married someday. Like, you know, they're getting older. Would you want to trade some livestock or something like that? I mean, the reason was to come together and have, and that's what they were doing in town. They were all coming together going, oh, okay.
It's
there's
socializing.
Bill and there's Steve. Yeah, all right, yeah.
Like,
that's what it is.
It wasn't back then. Like, people didn't actually just sit, except for the old timers or something. You didn't actually sit in saloons for freaking hours on day, and that's how you socialize. It's like these were these events that happened, like, hopefully, like, once every couple of months.
It's probably like twice a year.
And
New Year's Eve and sometime in the summer.
You got to see people that you walked around in your Sunday best or whatnot, and that's what you did. And that's something that's very interesting to me always about Westerns, is this is how they did meet, socialize, and do these things. But I have to say this, Mike, speaking of not communicating for 6 months, McCluskey is, we'll make the assumption he's like an inside man.
He completely, he is right from the start. He's like, hi, I used to work for them, but now I work for you. It's almost like he winks.
I called him a fat sow. They linger on him after that conversation for long enough. He might as well have winked, like you said.
Yeah.
You might have well been like,
I'm not going to be in this movie much until this one important particular scene.
Yeah.
100%. You never see him again, do you?
And what's the point of having an inside man who, at this point, is a half a day's horse ride away? Is he writing letters and hoping they get there?
Right.
Is he handing letters to the mailman saying, like, hey, don't tell anyone else about this?
Later on,
Like,
how does he know?
What the hell are you? What information are you relaying to them when it takes you literally hours to try to communicate with them at any point in time? It's like, hey, where's McCluskey? He's been gone for like 4 hours today, and he comes back and is like, oh, sorry guys, I just had to run down to the river to pick up some water. Here it is. What are you doing?
Yeah. I never thought about that.
He's got an alibi for this?
So no wonder they're trusting of him, because they're like, what's he going to do?
I mean, he can't go anywhere.
Well, this is on Tunstall too, because he doesn't vet, like, he's got these group of guys,
Far
and they're
too
all
trusting.
pieces of shit.
Why does he need another one?
Like, Billy the Kid is a piece of shit. He tried to steal in real life, he tried to steal Tunstall's horse.
There's maybe 2 that aren't pieces of shit, and that's Dick and Doc. Dick Doc. So,
Sounds like a good app.
I did.
Well,
you're right.
I would say Chavez is.
Oh yeah, Chavez is like awesome too.
Yeah.
Should we talk about Lou Diamond Phillips?
Are we
there? I don't mean to transition us out of something.
Let's save our Lou Diamond Phillips conversation for a later moment.
Okay, I know what you're talking about.
Let's save it for that.
That's totally fair.
That's called foreshadowing.
So this whole like murder of Tunstall is like pretty damn accurate.
Yeah.
You know, like in real life, I know they were like headed back wherever, and the boys just went and started to chase pheasants or turkeys, I think it was. In real life. Like that was a fun thing to do back then. Speaking of not a phone in sight, that was
they
the
were
fun
drunk
they
driving
had.
too.
Exactly.
They're out there drunk driving.
But yeah,
kids.
they left Tunstall and they just came up behind him and capped his ass. And like in real life too, it was pretty brutal because they killed his horse because they knew that he loved horses. Tunstall did, and they also positioned their dead bodies in a way that what the horse was like cuddling Tunstall in real life.
Oh my
just
God.
to like when they found him, be like, hey, an extra fuck you. It's brutal. It's fucked up.
Oh my
man.
gosh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I didn't read that in like the research of this. I'm kind of glad I didn't.
Well, it's just like I was shocked to find out that this '80s heartthrob casted movie was just like that.
Yeah.
I mean, this story is pretty. It's a pretty great fucking story.
It is
you know?
a great story.
and they
And
do
it's
keep
true.
to it. And like, why would you stray from it that much? Because
Yeah.
it's a very cool story.
There's fantastical elements of this movie that like some of it's actually real. And I think the only reason some of them even aren't historically accurate is because they really had to pare down the casting of it.
Yeah.
They couldn't have 11 guys on
Because there was
screen
a lot more, wasn't there?
regularly. You know what I mean? That would be really tough. Regulators. That would be really tough to do. But the brutality of that, killing the horse is like killing the dog.
Yeah.
Like it's like right up there. Every time there's a shootout, that's maybe my favorite part of like real movies is thank God the horses didn't get
Yes.
killed.
Yeah.
They're shooting
And
at
right
each
away
other,
you
but
go,
not a dang bullet strays onto that horse, and you're like, thank God.
Not
But
this one.
when they do that, it's a brutal reminder of like what they were after.
yeah, I mean, it was a extreme act of violence that did not need to happen, and I totally get the vengeance that they feel.
Yeah,
100%.
and these are not like these are kind of like rough dudes anyway that are sort of being caged to be like, nah.
Yeah.
They're like mutants, like he learned to tame your
Yes,
powers.
you're right.
Yes.
But now they're just like,
Out of the
boom,
cage. Out of the
going.
cage.
And now they got fucking Billy the Kid, who doesn't give a shit about Tunstall. But Billy,
I think in real life he did, but in this movie,
okay,
maybe
in this
not.
movie maybe not. But yeah, in this movie, Billy the Kid's like, well, who cares? But also, this is a great excuse to go kill people.
Yeah.
It is how he sort of takes it.
Yeah, I feel like it's another instance where we're getting. Sometimes it's like too much of a time lapse, where
You're right. Maybe a year went by.
we don't know how long he's been a part of this group, but it makes it seem like he's only been there for like a couple of weeks,
2 days.
you know, a couple of days, and you're just like, I guess,
Whatever.
But like, and you feel that way because I think it feels like they haven't really accepted Billy into the group as much.
Yeah.
He's still a kind of an outsider, even of the regulators to a degree.
And maybe because of the time they didn't have to portray all of this, but like Billy the Kid didn't have like that great of a life, like his family life or anything. He like ran away pretty early, and so like this Englishman comes along and gives him clothes and like teaches him shit and like
That is tight.
gives him like the first gift he probably ever got.
Yep.
You know,
Right.
like that.
Probably the first hair tussle he ever received.
Exactly. Yeah. The first Irish accent he never heard.
Never really got.
But yeah, no, like they don't really get into that. So, but we have to review the movie as it is.
Right.
And so they didn't really
Read
go
the
into
book. Read the book, you idiots.
Hello. It's historically factual. If you look, did you see this against the facts?
That. That didn't even go down like that. Not even 10% of it.
I think it's really fun though. Like, this is one thing I'm not too sure of, but the deputization of these guys. And I know that in the Old West they would do this for people who, because they needed law.
Yeah.
They needed lawmen. They needed to be able to deputize people to say, we need assistance to basically kind of help control what happens in these towns. It's a free-for-all. It is an absolute free-for-all.
It was. And like
in these cities, these little towns, and these pop-up towns that are happening and growing, and we're getting this concentration of people in these areas, and there's no law. Like, we need to deputize people. This is very random that they're like, hey, there's a group of guys now that they basically want vengeance, but we don't have the manpower to like round up the people who did it. Let's provide an outside
them.
It's
law
basically
force?
like, you know what they did was pretty fucked up. Let's just get these guys deputized and see if they can bring them in and shit. And like what you're saying is like the complete lawlessness of this area is like this wasn't New Mexico at the time. This was just a U.S. territory that the U.S. owned.
Yeah.
You know, they didn't call it New Mexico. It wasn't a government. It was just like right after the Civil War, everything was still all fucked up. You know, and so factions of people could just do violence on each other and have no repercussions.
Well, and think about it. Who better? We know we need to bring Murphy's men to justice, but I'm not going up against Murphy. Like, So who better to deputize than the only people that are dumb enough to do it?
Yeah,
that's a good point. That's a good point. Actually, I never thought of it that way. They are out for blood.
Yep.
But maybe they are out for justice. But at the same time, we aren't gonna do this.
It's like, well, a couple innocent people might get killed, but at least they're gonna get Murphy eventually.
Yeah, eventually it'll work out. I think it'll be fine.
Tell those fat cats north of Richmond that there's no law down here. All right.
I hate when they get political.
It's the
hey, that song was written for both sides. I'm sorry.
God damn it. Kind of like that song. Okay. Anyway. I've got. I'm sorry.
So much passion in his voice.
No, like so. But I do think it's kind of wild. And you talk about we in this they really portray, you know, Dick is kind of going to be the first leader of this, right?
Yep.
And he's trying to do it by the law, by the book. This is not justice. And I think that's in the next
We're
scene.
moving to the next
right?
scene.
Okay.
So scene 3, as the regulators attempt to take Murphy's henchmen in alive, Billy guns down several unarmed men, including McCloskey, whom he suspects of still working for Murphy. Newspapers paint the regulators as a deadly gang headed by a larger-than-life outlaw, Billy the Kid. Now you're good to go.
Okay. Well, I just think if Dick is the leader of this, you obviously...
I just don't like Charlie Sheen.
No.
Like, there's no leadership in his bones.
Let's be honest. He looks like he bought a. They did the wardrobe did not do a great job with him. They dressed him like it's a Halloween Express thing with the shirt, the vest, the bandana.
There's only sizes. It's large, extra large, 2XL.
Yeah, and he wears a large, but they only had XL.
Yeah,
and like they put the vest on him, and that one happened to be like too small for him. And so you're just like, and then they put the badge on him, and you're like, you got a Halloween costume. And I don't.
He's still like recovering from pockmarks on like on the side of his cheek. There's like a huge zit, just like bleeding.
Yeah,
that's like for real. It's not like just,
from like a.
There's like a breakout
from blank. I thought it was from blanks.
No, just him having horrible skin because he's so young.
Got it.
Well, there was the point that they were shooting blanks.
That was it. Yeah,
I think it was in this bar.
They're like
shootout.
ceramic. Like there was ceramic put in to make it more like intense.
Yeah,
and make them louder. And this like little bits of ceramic were shooting out at their faces and like nicking them and stuff like that. It's crazy.
Cocaine's a hell of a drug.
Cocaine's a hell of a drug.
We talk a lot about bars that we want to go to. Dudes, if this bar existed right on the edge of a riverbank, surrounded by mountains, I would go there.
Just around the river bend. I would go to that bar.
I would too.
I don't know if I would like hang out. I'd like to stop there.
Yeah.
And
No. It's
have
not
a
your
beer and a
It's
whiskey.
not your hangout. It's
No.
like, let's do one time. Because you never know, you might go in the bathroom and some guy might tell you to look at his dick.
Yeah.
And you look because you're like, I want to check it out. But when you look down, it's actually a gun.
It's actually
a penis
gun.
gun.
It's a penis gun.
It's a dick gun, and
It's
but
such
it
a
wasn't
good
being
move.
but it wasn't being held by Dick.
Weird.
Anyways, that's what I'm trying to say. Is like it's one of those things that if Dick's the leader of this gang, but then he knowingly. He knows Billy is he's off the cuff. He can't.
This isn't
contain
going to
him.
go well.
He sends him in there.
This is when Dick loses full control.
Correct.
Yeah.
If Dick would have been the one to go in there with another guy or something like that and said, "Hey, what's your nuts? We're here to basically haul you in for the murder of John Tunstall, of Henry Hill." Right? He says he's like, "Hey, Henry Hill, like we're here to arrest you for that," and then it would have been a different story. He would have actually solidified himself as a leader, but instead he sends Billy the Kid in there.
Yep.
And that's it.
Well, because then actually from there, then that's when Billy's just up and shoots McCloskey right after that, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, that's
it's,
right.
It's full. They're full. It's fully done.
tilt.
We're going.
It's a really cool scene too. I
really
like
is.
how it's all kind of broken down a little bit. He's like, I saw that, and everyone's like, what the fuck are you talking about? I saw you look at him. Like he knows what I saw.
Yeah.
You know, that it was like, oh shit, like it gets me
got
tense,
tense.
You know, and then like
it was a very tense scene. I
but
think
also
it's one of the better
I'm
scenes
still
of the movie.
wondering too, like maybe he wasn't, like maybe he did work with them, but maybe he didn't
You're
do
right.
all of this.
We
like,
don't actually
every time I watch him, like I don't know, did you really have to shoot him?
Yeah.
They didn't
I think
show.
you
They
did.
didn't show that one scene where he like is sneaking off.
Yeah.
They never showed us that. They
Never gave it
implied
to us.
But you're right. Like maybe he was like, no, fuck that guy.
Yeah.
I hated working for Murphy.
And he just blows his fucking head
His
off.
head's a canoe.
Maybe he knew something because they ran into Henry Hill's guys. You know, and he said maybe we should go that way, right? And I really like that. Now that you say that, I really do like that they left it kind of ambiguous.
Yeah.
I don't think they ever really solidified it.
Because like Billy the Kid as a figure in real life too is complicated because he was kind of like a Robin Hood-ish kind of thing where he did like give to the poor, but he mostly only killed like bullies or like people that like were shitty to him,
yeah.
you know.
He's like Boondock Saints.
Basically,
It's basically Boondock
It's
Saints,
basically
guys.
that. He's the living embodiment. He's the one person of those two brothers.
He's got Veritas on his
Hey,
hand.
Yeah.
shitty Irish accents.
Hey!
There we go.
Fuck yeah, dude. So we're in.
Huh?
But like it is sort of ambiguous because you're not sure how to. I'm not anyway sure how to feel about Billy the Kid. This is our
Yeah.
protagonist that we are watching in this movie, but his morals maybe don't so much align with mine.
We talk about that all the time. How when you're given a protagonist of a film, you're generally led to believe that they are in the right, and you have to remember they're killing people.
Oh yeah.
Like John Tunstall is a protagonist.
They're all dead
Yeah.
bad guys.
This is Billy the Kid is not somebody to admire necessarily.
Except for young Mike Schulte and Bud Larsen doing their school reports in elementary school.
Duh. You did a school report?
Fuck yeah, on Billy the Kid.
Yeah.
And I think I remember thinking I wanted to be like him until I saw that photo of him,
Oh yeah.
that one photo, and I was like, nah, I don't want to be like him.
Ooh, you know what? I changed my mind. I think it's interesting because he is a wild gun, man.
But that's what makes this such a great fun story.
Yeah.
Is because it's like, man, Emilio is Billy the Kid to me. Like,
is that how you kind of feel on it?
He just, I love the portrayal of him, just the unhinged and the laughter and like the, like he seriously doesn't give a fuck.
He doesn't give a shit.
Sometimes the laughing and shit, like especially like when he got all dressed up from Tunstall.
Yeah.
And like they were throwing, or Chavez was throwing knives at that water bucket. He just started blasting from the top.
Yeah.
Sometimes it
It's
gets
a
to
little
me
over the top.
a little bit, but still, I do agree with you in general that he is Billy the Kid, and as far as Hollywood goes.
And most people say that was fairly true to his personality,
Yeah.
who he actually
and he
was.
actually was a fucking solid shot. too.
Yes.
Like he practiced shooting things.
See, I enjoy it. I agree with both of you though. I'm 100% on board with both of you that there's a point, maybe it is Emilio Estevez just a little overdoing it, but the cackle gets a little much, but at the same time
makes it.
it does add to it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
If it were just another, like if Charlie Sheen were in that role, like it just wouldn't have worked.
No.
like we said earlier.
No, I don't think it would have.
What scene? So there's a scene. I wish I would have written it down a little better. There's two dudes on horses and they kill one of them. There's knife. They knife one of them.
That's
Yeah.
just after
just
he
after
shoots
this,
McCluskey.
right? So the one guy that got knifed, his name was Baker. Did you read who he actually was in real life?
Oh yeah, wasn't one of them Jack Palance's?
Yeah, Jack Palance's son.
Yeah.
It was the dude that gets knifed on the horse.
Nice.
I don't know if he did much else other than that, but that's kind of a nice little father-son in the movie connection.
Even the guy who plays Pat Garrett is is John Wayne's son.
John Wayne's son.
Dude, I forgot
right.
about the guy that plays Pat Garrett is John Wayne's son.
It's kind of crazy.
That's really awesome.
And he's like very stoic too. Like he
Yes.
seems like a ghost in this movie for some reason.
does.
Like he's
One of
kind of
the-
literally haunting Billy the Kid for
one of
what
the-
happens to him later.
Things I never kind of realized I tried to make sense of. Patrick Wayne, that was his name.
There you go.
Patrick Wayne. So because Billy the Kid meets Pat Garrett, right? And so he meets him at the dance.
Yes.
And he says, one day I'll be that big. And I think to myself, I'm like, is he talking about like his height or like? And I'm like, wait a second. Like, I mean, he
Can't wait till I go to hike school.
He is a big guy. I mean, comparatively, I was like, well, is that what he's talking about? And then I'm like, well, Pat Garrett was like an outlaw too, wasn't he?
Basically, he was. They're so like juxtaposed with each other because he's done some bullshit. Billy the Kid's done some bullshit, but technically Pat Garrett was on the right side.
But it's like Tombstone. Remember we talked about all the fucking brothers did some pretty shitty shit, and they were like walking that line of like being an outlaw, and then like, oh, okay, we'll go into law.
It was just the way of life.
Yes,
it's like you walked the fence and until you fell off basically. But I mean, Pat Garrett, if we don't need to discuss the whole story of Billy the Kid and Pat Garrett, but at the same time, it's fun that they met, and then eventually I think they actually rode and did things together on the opposite side.
It's fairly haunting. Like that's pretty the famous part of the Billy the Kid story is the Pat Garrett kind of betrayal. Because it is a bit of a betrayal for him.
Mildly, you can see it that way for sure.
You're my friend.
Because they have a respect for each other. Have you guys ever seen the movie The Kid? With it's the kid from Beyond the Pines.
Place Beyond the
I know what
Pines.
you're
Place
talking
Beyond
about.
the Pines and
Ryan Gosling.
Ryan Gosling, thank you. No, it's not.
Oh,
that.
okay.
But then Ethan Hawke, who plays Pat Garrett, and it's a wonderful movie. It's a little slow, but it's a great movie, and from my understanding, it's very, very accurate. Worth the watch for sure if you're interested in this stuff at all.
Well, if we were going to talk about the greatest bar in the world to sit at, you know that what would make that better would be sipping on some Cedar Ridge whiskey. You know they love whiskey back then, but I can't imagine how terrible the whiskey tasted back then.
Yeah, not distilled very well, not aged properly.
Not Iowa corn.
Come on, if you're using Iowa corn like the greatest whiskey company in America, Cedar Ridge, you get the best whiskey. They've been with us for a long time. We've been talking about it. We hope that you've tried it. If you haven't, what are you waiting for? You can either go to your local distributor, you can ask them to get it, or you can actually order it straight to your doorstep. You can get the flagship bourbon. Make a little cocktail.
My favorite.
Dude, that's what I'm saying. Mix it up with the bitters and maybe smoke the glass a little bit. Make a cocktail with it. You could get the American Quintessential Single Malt, which personally for me, I'm a cube. I'm one cube. Single malt, let the ice melt a little bit, bring the flavor out.
There you go.
Well, I hate, we've talked about this. We are not Scotch fans, but this single malt is incredible.
Yep.
Amazing.
That's why we went with our single malt.
That's what I'm saying.
And we made our whiskey with them.
I've had people, I've had a little bit. I've gotten a great opinion from another buddy of mine.
Yeah.
I had somebody send me a picture of a bottle that they saw.
Yeah.
And they were like, this is great.
You could even do the collaboration they did with Sleep Token, the best metal band in the world. I'm just joking. It's Slipknot. That's an inside joke. Slipknot, the best thing to come out of Iowa, along with Cedar Ridge, has combined to make their own whiskey. You should understand that this company is incredible. They're local. They're in our backyard. They're great people. And we're not telling you this just to say it. Like, this is the best whiskey in the world. So please go to cedarridgedistillery.com. Check them out. Learn more about it.
CedarRidgeDistillery.com.
CedarRidgeDistillery.com.
Don't be a dummy. Be responsible. Scene 4. With bounty hunters seeking, Chavez leads the others on a peyote trip. After this, they have a shootout with Buckshot Roberts. They kill Roberts, but not before Dick is killed and the men flee. Doc visits Yen's son before rejoining the gang, and they kill the corrupt sheriff, William J. Brady, and his men. This is where the movie turns.
Yeah.
Where the hell do we go, guys? We got this guy coming from the north towards us. We got that guy coming from the west. This guy coming from the east. Where the hell do we go? Chavez is like, I know. Let's do hard psychedelics.
It seems like the worst decision they could ever make.
I've got an idea. Let's go to the sky.
How about we go up?
We'll go into. But he truthfully might have believed though that they became invincible at that point. They're going into the spirit world. Are they invincible? Like we talk about a little bit later when they ride through the town.
I mean,
look, man, peyote's a hell of a drug. All right, we talk about liquid courage. In today's world of having a beer or something. Maybe peyote is just like an ongoing like liquid courage.
If it's anything, I mean, it's not. I like from what I hear, nothing like Adderall. But one time I took half an Adderall, I felt like I could do fucking everything.
I know.
And,
when I'm on albuterol, dude, fucking my life
Yeah,
is
dude.
crazy.
I gotta tell you, bro. I gotta tell you.
it was a heavy workload day, and I took an Adderall, and I'm like, I got that shit done, dude. What's next? Let's fix that porch right now.
And then the next day I came back and everything was half done.
Yes. So kind of weird. What do you guys think about this scene? It seems like a non sequitur divergence from the story, but
it's dude. When I was a kid, I was like, I didn't understand what was happening.
Right.
But who cares? Because it's kind of funny. They're doing funny stuff. I fucking love this scene.
I do too.
Like I don't know why. It's just it's normally you'd be like, cut that. We don't need this. But maybe it's just because I love all of these actors so much. And their different ways of portraying stuff. And like Chavez just going, oh, the mountain. You got one dude throwing up. You got one dude shooting guns. In fact,
Ooh, here's a prop.
I've been thinking
Peyote?
about getting. Yeah,
You want the peyote?
let's go.
yeah, let's do it. No, I want Billy the Kid's hat with all the flour.
Oh, nice.
He clearly went around and was like, ooh, flour.
He picked
weed.
the
What a
the
pretty
stupid
flower.
brushes and weeds. So Kiefer Sutherland didn't have to give more to Yen's son.
It just shows.
He saw him picking it. He's like, ooh, I
Here's
want
some
those.
leaves.
It shows how much Billy is a kid because he's like, oh, that's a cool flower. It's like, that's a dandelion. Okay?
Yeah.
That's all it is. Oh, I got you a flower, Mom.
I was
That's
thinking-
a dandelion.
I was
I
outside
don't-
for 4 hours looking for four-leaf clovers.
Four-leaf clovers.
Your dad's been trying to kill dandelions for 3 years.
Yeah, exactly.
And you're giving it to me as a gift.
And now you plucked a bunch and then you threw them in random places and now they're going to sprout again.
that has
So-
Roundup on it.
Yep.
Did you put that in your mouth?
I hope you didn't put it in your mouth. Did you color your arm with it?
Yes.
Because now you have Roundup on your
You
arm.
fucking
Awesome.
dirt kid.
You're going to have cancer.
Monsanto.
You fucking mud kid. How did I raise a mud kid?
As far as prop, I want.
How did I raise a mud kid? No, God, why?
Every once in a while, they just turn out to be mud kids, or they turn out to be insufferable book nerds.
Inside kid or
God,
mud
he's-
kid?
God damn, he's going through his mud kid phase.
That's got to be the name of a band. Mud Kid.
Do you want to hear a note that I have on my phone?
Yes.
No.
I'm going to tell you this right now. It's Inside Baseball, guys. TCB merch that I'm working on. One says Mud Kid Band Tee.
Good shit.
Inside Kid band team. We got to have the juxtaposition. I'm going with the revolver that Billy the Kid takes from that dude in the bar.
Yeah,
When
that's a good one.
Charlie Rodriguez gets his dick wet.
Yeah. I like that a lot,
pistol,
actually.
that pistol, the guy.
Oh, yeah.
Take
That's a
young
good
ones.
one.
Wait. The pistol. Say it again.
He's like, this is the pistol that killed him, so and so.
Okay.
He's like, oh, let me see that. He's like, because it's the guy looking for Billy the Kid
Yeah.
in that scene. I want his pistol.
His gun.
I gotcha.
It's got like nickel
The
plated.
one that killed so-and-so.
The nickel just shine though.
Yeah.
I gotcha. I want the chest that they throw Billy the Kid out the window with.
Nice.
That's
Cool.
what I want.
I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, and I love the pianos. I love the peyote scene.
Pianist.
But I also I think my favorite part maybe is when they're still on it, but they go through the Native American village. Like,
Why
hey,
aren't they killing?
hey, did you know we're in the spirit world? Like, and it actually, I kind of wonder why did they get through there?
Yeah, I don't know.
You know, was this just because Chavez was there? By the way, Chavez looks like a fucking badass.
He's like he
fucking
just got
dope.
done with a rad set with the Misfits.
Yes, he
Yeah, he
does,
did.
man.
It's like he just did a guest spot with Ghost.
Yeah.
Uh,
He's like, or he's in Behemoth. Let's just keep going with it.
I'm
Or Sleep
down.
Token.
Yeah,
I'm down.
there you go.
Yeah.
Dude, yeah.
No, I just really like it, and also just a fun
Kiss.
fact for anybody out there
Yeah.
rewatching the movie. Yeah. And when they do go through that village, Doc's got a mask over his face that was not actually Kiefer Sutherland.
right. Yeah.
he
That's
was
right.
like he went the birth of his first child or something like that. He had to leave, and they're like, "Oh, just put Steve on the horse and put a mask over
Wow,
him.
dude.
It'll be fine."
Wow, I guess he's got a little mixed up on his priorities.
Wow.
oh, I gotta go see my kid who's just got born. Like that's important.
This movie's gonna define my career.
Yeah.
You know, there's two important docs in the history of the Western ethos, and you're gonna just walk out on this one.
Did you
Great job.
think for at least a millisecond that this was Doc Holliday?
No.
I did for 1 second. I was like, Wait a minute.
Why?
No, okay, never
Just a
mind.
second.
I just for
It's
one
not.
second was like, are they implying that Doc Holliday was also with Billy the Kid at some point? Oh, never mind.
I'm pretty
that was
sure.
a stupid thought.
I'm pretty sure that doing any sort of like medical kind of like studies back in the West, you didn't actually have to have a degree.
No.
It was just like, oh yeah, I went and took a half of a CPR class, actually.
I'm actually a certified
like-
lifeguard.
It's like, oh, really, in the desert?
Yeah.
Yeah, you learn how to suck
And-
out rattlesnake poison.
Yeah, he's like, or he's like, well, yeah, actually, I put my belt around some guy's bullet wound at one point. Wow, you must be a doctor. Well, not really. Hey, you guys should meet my friend Doc.
We call him Doc now.
This is Doc.
It's like, oh yeah, I fell down once and got a boo-boo on my knee, and he put a Band-Aid on it.
Yeah. So actually, my friend, when we were kids, he fell off of his horse, and his bone was sticking out. So I just put leaves on it, and I and rubbed it on, and put more dirt, and then he was okay.
They
He's
call me
got a
Doc now.
limp. He's got a limp, but ever since then they call me Doc.
He's just like, I got a gaping open wound, and it just, I think it's getting infected, and Doc's just got like a bottle of Cedar Ridge. And he's like, oh, you're good to go.
There you go.
Take a swig of that, actually. I feel right. I feel right as rain.
Yeah, you'll feel good. I do love this Buckshot Robert scene too.
Yeah.
Something about this dude, like how awesomely calm this guy is.
Mm-hmm.
It threw me off guard when it was like, oh, here's just a guy and he's just talking to him, and he kind of goes, well, which one of y'all is Billy? Well, I get 150 for Billy, 110 for the rest of you. Well, whatever, I guess. And just like,
I ain't talking to you, you peckerhead some bitch. I fucking love this guy.
so good, man. And I guess this guy was real.
Yeah.
And he was like a feared son of a bitch.
Badass of all badasses.
Yes. And was he actually killed in this then?
Yes.
So like this is when he did die.
Yeah.
Wow.
Gut shot wound. He died like 3 days later inside that.
I was gonna
that
say it's
porta
like,
potty.
He
I guess.
never left.
it's like he didn't die right away, but they left and he was dead. They
I can't,
found him dead.
You know, you've gone into a Porto John before, like the next day after like a big festival or something like that, and it's
Yes.
just one of the most disturbing places
It's
you've ever been.
the place you don't want to die.
Yes.
You know.
Can you imagine what an Old West outhouse was like? Because they don't like show up with the truck and like pull
No.
the sewage out.
Yeah.
It just stays there.
They just dig a hole and then like, well, that one's filled.
Yep, that was
Covered
full.
up.
Well, that's full. Bring the
Shitter's
concrete
full.
truck.
Shitter's full.
That sounds like a terrible place to die.
I love this scene. I think it's fucking awesome. Let's dance. It's fucking so
Yes.
cool.
Well, it's so calm.
Yeah.
That's what I
How
said.
is this right? Like you said, like you're saying, it's like, how is there like, I can't tell if it's like this weird respect, if it's this like strange, well, we're gonna try to scare him off, but he just rolls up. He's like, yeah, I just need to know who I need to kill. Okay, great. Choo-choo, 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 choo-choo.
I mean, I guess
And he
all
just
of you will
goes
do,
for
but I
it.
need to pick out which one of you
Yeah.
is Billy the Kid.
Like, you're all fine, but like, I just need to make sure he's here because that's
Yeah.
really what I need to get done. And he's just standing in the middle. I mean, well,
Yeah.
he technically he is around a horse aura,
Yeah.
so I think that kind of shields him from being
I
shot.
agree.
The horse aura, he's around the horse.
But that
so-
horse aura, like, will take every time it takes a bullet, it
Yeah.
drains. So
It
he's
drains
got to
down.
he's got to eventually get away.
yeah. And it takes time. Like there's like a buffer.
Yep.
That
It
it has,
will
that
build
has to
back
rebuild
up.
back up.
Right
But
around-
you have to get away from the bad guys and let the sheriff badges.
If you
go
didn't
down
know,
from
if you
3
didn't
to
know
0.
though, there was like a little hidden spot for a health thing. It was like behind the rock.
Oh, but
to
they
his
didn't
right.
know it?
He didn't know that, so he could have just gone over there. It would have refilled right away.
Well, they
But-
should have used that for Dick.
Yeah.
Well, Dick's kind of an idiot. How did he not? How was he 10 feet away from that outhouse and didn't see
And
a,
how do
a
you
shotgun
ruin-
barrel coming out of
How
it?
do you ruin a death scene? Dude, it's editing and his performance is like
And then they never show him again. They
It's-
just show a weird body on the ground.
It's true. It's not a great death, like getting shot scene.
he's like on one foot.
Yeah.
Fucking
It's
hate
like
it.
it's like, dude, it's one shot.
Yeah.
It's not like you're getting peppered by gunfire. You don't have like 6 squibs on you.
Yeah.
Okay. Like it's one shot. And all those BBs don't hit you like, like
Make
No,
it
they
count,
do.
Charlie. Make,
Make
it
it
count.
count.
Make it
Make it
count.
look cinematic.
swing away, Charlie. Quarter of an inch, Charlie. Like, I just don't understand. I don't love that scene. I don't love how it is. But I understand because I feel like we said when he sends Billy the Kid in to get Henry Hill to kind of root him out from the bar. It's like Dick knew that was his mistake, and so now he's got to be the one to step up and go and root this guy out.
That makes sense.
And he's got to prove something, and then it ends up in his demise.
Yeah, I mean, I guess Charlie Sheen is pretty enough that you don't want to have him get shot in the head, but in real life, Dick Brewer was shot like right between the eyes.
Really?
Yeah. It was just, I mean, a lot of people are shot in between the eyes in this movie and don't go down right away.
Yeah. No. Well, was it McCluskey or was it Dick Brewer that one of them, if not, shoot, probably both of them, who knows, because of, I'm sure reporting was really, really accurate at that point in time, as we know in this movie. But it's like one of them got their head blown off. Like their
fun.
It was,
fun.
Right off the top. Like their forehead didn't exist anymore.
Yeah. It's hard to carry on after that.
Yeah, it can be tough.
What I hear.
Yeah, I think you're right.
So we'll jump into some Lou Diamond Phillips talk here.
Let's
do it.
So the reason I wanted to bring it up here is this is when he kind of has his moment, right? He has his speech.
Yeah.
And I still to this day cannot determine whether I think it's good or not. Like his performance in the scene. Yeah, I just don't know, right? Because I love Lou Diamond Phillips. Like he is such a cool motherfucker.
God,
and
I love hair.
That's what I'm saying. He is just so badass, and I love him in this movie, but I just don't know about this scene. Yeah. You know, when he's talking about his mom and like...
Yeah, like...
Sometimes, at some points, I'm like, yeah. At some points, I'm like, yeah.
I'm indifferent on his whole performance in the whole movie.
Right?
So the reason that I feel that way at points, or like during this speech, is their reaction to it.
Okay.
And I can't tell if it makes it more impactful. Like, so everyone else, it makes it more impactful. But then you have Billy the Kid being like, yeah, but you're still a bitch. And it's just like, you know, you're walking away and really deteriorating the like level of the severity of this story.
And those are true stories. Like, I mean, that whether that exactly happened to Chavez or not, I mean, that happened for the natives. I mean, we've talked about that before.
And people like Jack Palance's character Murphy would probably have done that.
100%.
Exactly.
But I also did read that apparently he was like really sick during that scene.
Like 104 temperature.
So maybe that had something to play
Lou Diamond Phillips was?
Yes, yeah.
Oh.
He wanted to get it done. Yeah, he's like, I want to do this, and then I'm going to go fucking crawl up in an actual bathroom and die.
Oh, man. I appreciate the scene. I really do. There is upon current rewatch, I was like moved by it.
Yeah.
So I will give it that for sure.
Well, let's finish this out. So last scene, they meet with a furious Alex who revokes their badges. Billy kills an arrogant bounty hunter, and the gang escapes to Mexico, where Charlie marries a local woman. At Alex's house in Lincoln, the gang is surrounded by Murphy's men and famed bounty hunter John Kinney. Realizing they were lured into a trap, a massive shootout and standoff occurs. In the end, only Chavez, Billy, and Doc survive.
The whole cockiness of Billy the Kid, because of the headlines and everything, another kind of fun thing is that like they were terrified when, especially Billy the Kid, they were terrified in real life when they saw the headlines. They're like, fuck, we are fucked. You know, kind of like Charlie Baudry is. He wasn't stoked about it like he is in the movie. But it is cool to see Emilio Estevez as Billy the Kid just like behind Sheriff Brady, be like, oh, I'm fucking sheriff. Oh, look at me.
Oh, look at me.
Big swinging dick. Oh. It's fucking great.
It's so dope. And that scene, I might as well talk about it, the scene in the saloon when Charlie's getting his prostitute on, I think. Which, by the way, did you read Yes. Apparently it's supposed to be his mom.
Yeah.
Like
which
in a
you can kind of
deleted
tell
scene.
after
well, we
after
just want to
watching
cuddle.
it.
We just want to cuddle.
Well, like, now I kind of get it.
Yeah,
because like something you can see something kind of come over that actress's face too. Like he's like, oh, this kind of feels right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
that motherly
my
connection.
bosom.
Yes.
Apparently.
But I do love Billy the Kid's. I mean, this is like frightening. To see someone so unhinged in this moment, and that guy's just so fucked. You know, right?
Takes such pleasure in fucking with somebody before you kill them. You know,
like I could just kill you now, but I'm gonna fuck with you.
That's like sadomasochistic.
Yes,
and that's the thing too. I mean, I know we are reviewing the movie, and I hate to keep doing this, but like in real life, I think he didn't like killing people. He just had to do it sometimes. Yeah. He wasn't like a madman like he is in this movie. I don't think.
Well,
There's a point in the movie The Kid that really helps portray this too, when he is like kind of captive in a not brothel, but like basically a little hotel and above a bar, where they're staying so he can get transferred to Lincoln or whatnot to be prosecuted. And there is a point where one of the people that's helping to hold him captive, he ends up killing, and he's very like remorseful. But he's like, I didn't want to do that. I told him not to do anything. I told him to stop, don't run, like just like step back, get out of my way. That's all it is. And he starts to run and yell, and he shoots him, and he had to do it.
And that's
he's like,
real
I
too.
didn't want to kill him. I told him what to do, and he didn't listen. And that's more real than like the stuff with Brady.
Yeah,
right?
I agree.
But like in that same in the real that story, that is true. There was another guy that went away that came back, who was fucking with Billy the Kid while he was in prison,
right?
And so he took in great pleasure in killing that guy.
Sure,
howdy Dick or whatever his name was. He just blew him away. But
yeah,
so like he killed bullies. He didn't like killing.
He
regular
didn't like bullies. Yeah, Billy didn't like bullies. Billy the Bully Killer. It was another alias, actually. A lot of people don't know that. They just felt Kid was shorter. It took up less letters on the letterpress. But the thing with Brady, it also speaks to, I do like the show of like not ignorance, but pride in I'm a big lawman and I'm gonna kill Billy the Kid and his crew.
But first I'm gonna get my dick wet.
That's right. Because and it shows the ignorance of it, because well, Billy the Kid, he's like this, looks like this. Here's the gun I'm going to use to kill him and all that stuff. It's like you're talking to Billy the Kid. And it shows the ignorance of not only like the newspapers, but then the people that they are feeding this information to. I ain't left-handed.
Yeah, right.
Right? Like there was a photo of Billy the Kid, and because it's like the photos at the time would be in reverse, showed him as a left-handed
everybody
shooter.
thought he was.
So it's like, I ain't left-handed. Like, what the heck's going on? Like, the paper's got nothing
People are
right.
idiots.
And it almost kind of feeds to the comedy of it.
Yeah.
Like, it's like a dark comedy aspect of this movie.
Yeah. Well, we get to this final shootout, man. And I mean, like, are you guys in on this? Do you like the way this movie ends? Like this big old standoff?
I think it's cool. I think it, as far as like knowing the entirety of the story, this is like half of it.
Yeah.
You know, and it makes me want to watch Young Guns too, which I haven't yet, in a while anyway. But I want to see it wrap up because that's the story to me, and I have to imagine that this like is a kind of quite a gamble to tell just half of this story.
But there's no way they intended a sequel. This was this was the movie. Dude.
And like, why make it if you're not going to complete that story?
Well, I mean, but maybe they just picked this section. This was the story, you know, because they wouldn't have ended it with and then this guy died here and this guy went there.
I guess
Doc's
is a
transcription of it afterwards is very finite.
Yes, this is I guess this is sort of the bookend to the leading incident after this.
Yes.
in real life. But as far as the scene goes, I think it's great. Who doesn't love we're outnumbered shootout scene in a house? And I Terry O'Quinn, I fucking love as Alex in this movie.
Yes.
Really underrated. It's his like third movie.
Might be. It was
Tombstone was one. I know. It's fucking cool ass scene.
He just gets. Who knew they had a Gatling gun the whole time? That just comes out of
my
nowhere.
God.
You're like, oh, there you. Oh God, wow.
Yeah.
Gatling gun.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's not good.
That was manned by a country singer.
Yeah, it was like Randy Travis.
Yes.
It was Randy Travis.
Like, hey, can I be in your movie? Yeah.
Did you guys see Tom Cruise?
It happened. I had to go back and watch.
Yeah.
I was like, I need to make sure on this. I was like, okay.
They hit him very well.
Yeah.
It's hard to tell that it's him.
But he's like one of the first soldiers that gets shot, right?
When they start coming down the stairs.
Yeah. He's like one of the first ones. Look at it. They got a hat on him, a mustache, like all that stuff, I think. And it's just like, okay.
For those of you that don't know what we're talking about, Tom Cruise was in this movie.
Yes.
Tom Cruise basically, I mean, think about where he's at in his career. He had already released Risky Business, Top Gun, Cocktail, Rain Man was coming out in a couple months. He's moving up in stardom. I guess he was just there.
Yeah.
He was just on set.
Just hanging out.
And they're like, you want to do this? He's like, yeah. And when you find him, we'll show you a clip of it. You'll see him. You're like, nah, it's not Tom Cruise. But then when he does get shot and his face goes
Yes.
back, that's when you're like, oh my God, that's
Absolutely.
Tom Cruise.
It's frickin' Tom Cruise.
And on top of that too is like they already filmed a lot of Emilio Estevez's like shootout
Yes.
scenes, and so for like the reverse shot, he was just on set too. He's like, I'm bored. Can I just be somebody? So he was dressed up in the background
So good.
as one of the soldiers shooting at himself.
That's right. Yes. Like it's to just say Tom Cruise is like, I've never really been in a Western.
Yeah.
Can I be in your thing?
Yeah, sure.
Hey, Tom Cruise wants to see if he can find a place like in our movie.
He doesn't even want to like credit. He just put him in
Oh,
there.
you mean our buddy that we do cocaine with on the weekends?
Oh yeah.
Throw him in there.
Yeah, dude. Oh my God. I remember
Hey,
him.
Emilio.
I remember him from The Outsiders. Yeah, come on in.
Well, dude, you got anything else on this one?
I think that's it for me, man.
Negatory.
All right, we have talked about this with a modern day rating. We got to give it modern day ratings because I said that twice. So, so let's do it. AJ, what do you got on this one, man?
I find this movie extremely fun, but there is a point when nowadays there are two types of movies. There are the ones that are trying to have fun with a story, and there are ones that are trying to be true to a story. And I have to be in a mood for either one.
Yep.
And the reason I brought up The Kid was because I thought it was actually a very well-made movie. I don't believe it was highly received necessarily, but I do really like the portrayals and the characters in that. And then you think about like if I'm doing that kind of comparison, take it back that 30 years, whatever it is, 25 some years that we are talking about this movie. It's tough. It's tough to like fall back to it to allow the fun of like a story like this, because especially when you do the research and you're like, this was not a fun time.
Nope.
So that being said, again, like any movie, I think you have to be able to at least pull yourself away from that and accept a movie for what it is and review it as such. And I love the cast of this movie. I love the way that they do choose to tell the story. I think that it gets a little too cut up. I feel like sometimes we say I think a movie could like cut off 15 minutes. I feel like they probably could have added 15 minutes in some points just to give me a little bit more context. Give me a Ulysses cut. And I would have probably fallen in love with this movie a little bit more. But unfortunately, I think I've just fallen in like at this point in my life. I like this movie, but I don't love it. So that being said, I think honestly, we're probably going to fall somewhere around the 6.75 range.
Nice. 6.7 size for the AJ Shaun.
Yes, you got it.
Am I going?
I don't know.
All right, I'll go. Young Guns. I think this movie's really fun, man. I think the first time I went through it, I'm like, I don't know. Charlie Sheen, and I'm not sure about Emilio Estevez, and then Lou Diamond Phillips. But then I watched it again. I'm like, this is just fun.
Yep.
And I think it's a perfect representation of taking liberties with a historical thing and making it 80s, capital 8, 80s with the music and everything. I think, like why not have that? It's like almost like a Quentin Tarantino with Inglourious Bastards kind of thing. Just take some liberties with it a little bit. You're doing it in this time. You have this cast. Go with it. Get some Bon Jovi in there a couple years later.
Not yet.
Yeah, I think it's really fun. I do think that it's a shame that it's not like the whole story in one, but I get it's a long story, and it's kind of tied up in a little bit of a too pretty of a bow for me.
Yeah.
Towards the end, but I still think it's a blast, man. I will watch this anytime it's on. 7.5 for me.
7.5 for the Shaun. So I don't know what it was on this watch, but I you guys don't, because I just compared your ratings. I like this better than Tombstone.
Nice.
Wow.
I don't know. Maybe it's just that 80s vibe to it and the funness, because Tombstone's not very fun.
No.
Sure.
It's not.
This is just fun, and I like the characters, and I don't know. It seems a little more rewatchable to me than Tombstone does at this point after modern day reviewing this, and I I love it. I mean, I'm not going crazy or anything, but I'm going 7.4 on this.
Wow.
We got to go to Bud Larsen. Thanks for picking this, Bud. This was a fun watch. He says, I watched this on Amazon Prime. According to critics, Young Guns was deemed closer to history in some ways than earlier films of the Lincoln County War. The relationship between Tunstall and Murphy was particularly close to historical accuracy. The killings of Henry Hill and Jay McCloskey are also particularly close to the historical record as well. The portrayals of Josiah Doc Skurlock, Jose Chavez, Chavez, by the way, is his full name, Richard Dick Brewer, and Charlie Baudry, are all of whom are not in earlier movie versions of the story, are praised. I like watching this movie, but every time I get to the part where they drink that mystery shit from Chavez and the next day no one is acting themselves, to me it seems that 17 minutes doesn't need to be in the movie.
I agree.
They could have made some of the shootouts a little longer. Also, the ending where Billy is pushed out the window while in a trunk, there are so many things that could have happened. We didn't even talk about that. What if he died in the trunk?
What a fucking ride, man.
I just want to, I needed to say this because it's the reason why I picked the prop, right? Like, the reason I picked the prop is because it's going to have freaking blood stains from when his kneecaps blew out. Because that's probably how it landed. Or it's like he's just like, all right, this is going to be fucking great. This is going to be fucking great. And it's just like, right on his head. Dude, luckily, my neck broke my fall.
He says the trunk could have landed upside down or facing the wrong way completely.
He should have come out of that trunk been like, fuck.
Or instead it's not even like locked right. So it's just like
it's full of packing peanuts.
And he just comes sprawling out like doubled over on himself like Billy.
Good fucking
Billy.
Point, my God.
You okay? Billy?
Yeah.
The trunk
Wake
could have
up,
landed
sleepy.
upside down or facing the wrong way. Also, it looked like he was the prime target right in the open. You're telling me that Billy was approximately 50 feet away in the open and no one shot him. I also noticed John Kinney had a bottle of Cedar Ridge whiskey. You're welcome.
Hell yeah.
In his left hand while shooting his rifle. Lastly, why does everyone shoot from the hip? I still say regulators mount up to my kids, and my 9-year-old says, is that from a movie like 50 years ago, Dad? My son is such a smart ass. Love that kid. I still find myself watching this in Tombstone from time to time. I forgot to say something about how awesome the soundtrack is in my last review of American Graffiti. I thought the score was pretty decent in this movie. Most punchable face is McCloskey or Murphy, but they both get shot in the face by Billy, so that's worse than getting punched in the face. Prop from the movie would be picture Billy tried to give Alex of himself. I like that.
Oh, yeah.
Modern day rating, 8.3.
Nice.
Oh, so we're popping up here, boys. We are a 7.49, which is still not above Tombstone, but it's close. 7.49 on the grand scale of things is going to take this movie all alone to the 57th spot. Going to be right below Tombstone and Tommy Boy, right above Big Trouble in Little China and Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
Perfect.
No, that's great.
Feel good about that, don't you?
I love that.
I love that, man.
Well, we hope you enjoyed the episode, everybody. Thanks for being here. Tune in next week. Spooky season starts.
Let's go.
We got Shaun of the Dead, which, by the way, if you were like, I've never seen Shaun of the Dead, just immediately go watch it.
Whatever you doing with your life.
What are you doing with your life? Followed by Blair Witch. Oh. And if you're new to the podcast, go back this time last year. We did Fast Times at Ridgemont High in Los Angeles with our friends, Raiders of the Lost podcast.
Yeah, dude.
That was
The
a fun one.
dudes.
That was a fun one.
Oh,
so go
yeah.
check that out. A year ago today.
Man, that's great. Oh, I need to go back and listen to that. I want to hear our friends talk again with us. Guys, thank you so much for being here and hanging out and listening this whole time with us. You're still listening. You know you are. Make sure you leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or any platform that you are listening on. Catch us on social media at Confused Breakfast. Search for Confused Breakfast anywhere possible. And by God, check us out on YouTube. We love hanging out on YouTube. You get to see us and get all the little funny physical jokes that don't come through in audio.
Yeah.
ConfusedBreakfast.com. Go take a look at our merch. You can get some pins. You can get some shirts. You can get some custom plated nickel guns with our logo on it.
You can get some sheriff badges.
Sheriff badges. Who needs the stinging badges? Yeah, you can go to the same damn website and see our ratings of every movie we've ever done. See my ratings. See AJ's ratings. See Mike's ratings. And then see our combined ratings as a show. Goodbye. I love you. Regulars bound up.
Support this podcast by supporting our sponsors, HelloFresh, Shopify, Cedar Ridge, And go to patreon.com/confusedbreakfast to be a Patreon supporter. Directly sponsor the show. We are produced by Upload Media Group in Cedar Rapids. We got Aggro Craig on the controls.
Yo.
Doing the damn thing. And we are part of the Cloud 10 iHeart Podcast Network. Learn more, cloud10.fm. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Deuces.
I got to pee in.
Mount
Can
up.
we keep